My name is Claire Pierce. I'm 32, and for as long as I can remember, I've been the family's emergency contact, unpaid bookkeeper, and emotional buffer. If my mom had to describe me in one word, it would be responsible. If I had to describe my family in one word, it would be expensive. I work as an operations manager at an international logistics company, shipments, spreadsheets, deadlines. At work, they joke my blood type is Excel. I love stability. Maybe that's why my family treats me like a warranty. Call me when something breaks. The last Sunday dinner was supposed to be calm. Mom had a roast in the oven. Dad sat on the couch, acting like the muted football game mattered more than anything. My younger sister, Jenna, floated in 20 minutes late in a big cream sweater that probably cost more than my whole outfit. She kissed Mom's cheek, dropped her designer tote on the floor, and sighed like a scene. "Do we have lemon water or just regular?" she asked, like she'd walked into a hotel. I was chopping parsley. "The sink works," I said. She wrinkled her nose, the same way she did when we were kids, and I offered to share my Halloween candy after hers ran out. "Claire, be nice," Mom said without looking up. "Your sisters had a stressful week." Jenna gave a long, practiced exhale. "You have no idea. My boss was so negative. It's hard being creative in that environment." I kept chopping. Creative. That's what Mom always called it. Jenna was creative. I was careful. One word sparkled. The other felt like beige wallpaper. As I reached for the cutting board, Aunt Rose leaned in from across the table. "So Claire, still renting that little apartment of yours? You're not getting any younger, sweetheart." "Working on it," I said. Mom's wooden spoon tapped the oven door like a period. "She's careful," Mom said proudly. "She likes things predictable. She's good with that." Then, a soft laugh. "Besides, Claire's comfortable. She's not like Jenna. Jenna's meant for more." Jenna smiled without showing teeth, chin in hand, like an influencer caught mid-day dream. "I'm figuring things out," she said. "It's a journey." That old sting hit my ribs, the one that started when we were kids. I scrubbed dishes for allowance. Jenna got surprises for trying her best. I saved tips from my part-time job to buy a used laptop. Jenna got a new iPhone for safety. Same house, different weather systems. Dad suddenly looked up. "Claire, grab the check when it gets here, okay?" I almost laughed. It wasn't even a question. "I forgot my wallet in the car," I joked. Everyone chuckled. It was funny because it was obvious I'd pay. I always pay. Later in the living room, I told Mom I was thinking about a temporary move. A project in Dublin. I said slowly, 6 months, maybe a year. She waved her hand. "Wine glass steady." "Oh, honey, that's not realistic. Your sister needs you right now." "What does that mean?" I asked. Mom's smile thinned. "Don't be defensive. You know how Jenna is. She just needs a little runway." Jenna drifted in like she'd been waiting for her cue, checked her reflection in the black TV screen, and said softly, "You'll understand when you learn to let go a little." Something shifted in my chest. Not anger, just that familiar weight of being the reliable one. In school, whenever a teacher said group project, everyone looked at me because they wanted an A without the effort. My family was the adult version of that. I set the knife down. "I brought dessert," I said. "It's in the fridge." "You're such a sweetheart, Claire," Aunt Rose called from the dining room. "Your parents are lucky to have you." "Of course we are," Mom replied, not lowering her voice. "That's what family's for." There was a pause where I was meant to smile and agree. I nodded anyway, the small, obedient nod that keeps the machine running. That's the rule. Jenna dreams. I do the dishes. Jenna finds herself. I find my wallet. That night I drove home with the windows cracked just enough to sting my cheeks. My phone buzzed. Mike, my boyfriend, working abroad. Mike, how's Sunday dinner with the Royals? Me, taxing, literally. Mike, still footing the bill for the kingdom? Me, you could say that. He sent a laughing emoji then. Mike, you know you don't have to keep doing it. Me, if I stop, the guilt tax doubles. He replied with a heart. His quiet way of saying, I see you. At home, I dropped my purse, opened my notes app, and scrolled the list I kept hidden in plain sight. Dates, amounts, quick notes. $216, family phone plan, temporary. $96, car insurance, Jenna added last year. $347, vet bill for Jenna's dog, Daisy. covered her non-refundable apartment deposit. Some entries had stars, debts I knew would never come back. It started as a practical list. It turned into a diary. Every number was a little reminder of how far I stretched to keep the peace. Mom always said, "Family evens out." It didn't. It just got tidier. The asks came with bows. "Could you just put it on your card for now? You're so organized, Claire. You make it easy. Jenna will pay you next month." Next month never arrived. I thought about the Dublin offer in my inbox, housing included, promotion, a raise. Everything I'd worked for, tied up neatly. But when I pictured saying yes, I heard Mom in my head. "You're abandoning your family. You think you're better than us." I stared at my ceiling fan turning in slow, steady circles. Maybe I was tired of spinning too. Some nights I pictured living where no one needed me. Then I'd feel ashamed, because good daughters don't dream about escape. Still, before I turned off the light, I added one more line at the bottom of the list. Utilities, parents' house, cancel autopay. I didn't do it yet, but writing it felt like a small rebellion, a whisper to myself. I could if I wanted to. Outside, the city moved on. My phone buzzed again. Mom sent a photo of Jenna and her boyfriend, Caleb, at dinner. Caption, "Our future power couple." I stared at it for a while. Jenna's hand on Caleb's cheek, nails perfect. She looked free. No guilt, no debt, no spreadsheets. I set my phone face down. I didn't want her life. I wanted her permission to live without owing anyone anything. I fell asleep to the hum of the fridge, thinking about how love, when it's lopsided, starts to feel like work. And I noticed something that would stick with me for months. I used to think love meant being needed. Now I think it just meant being used. If someone drew a family tree of financial responsibility, my branch would be made of receipts. By 25, my parents knew my credit card number better than my birthday. They didn't even ask directly anymore. They said things like, "You've always been so good with bills," or "You're the only one we can trust with this." Those words used to sound like affection. Now they feel like cuffs. When we were kids, Jenna wanted to be a singer. She performed in the living room with a hairbrush mic. I held the flashlight for her spotlight. I didn't mind then, but the pattern never changed. She performed. I held the light. Through her 20s, she drifted, 6 weeks of a travel blog, a bakery internship that ended because she didn't vibe with early mornings, and a wellness coaching certificate she never paid off. Each failure came with the same apology sandwich. "I'll pay you back soon. I just need a little more time. You're lucky you have a stable job." And I paid tuition, deposits, car repairs, emergencies that arrived with my name on them. First, I told myself I could afford it. Then, that it kept the peace. Eventually, I stopped telling myself anything. Last winter, my company offered the thing I'd quietly wanted. A promotion and relocation to Dublin. Paid housing, better salary, a year abroad. When I told Mike on video, he nearly jumped out of his chair. "Claire, that's huge. You've wanted this forever." "Yeah," I said, smiling small. "It feels like a door opening." "Then why do you look like someone died?" "Because they'll say I'm abandoning them." Mike leaned closer to the screen, serious. "You're not abandoning anyone. You're stopping the bleeding." I wanted to believe him, but guilt can sound a lot like loyalty when you've heard it since childhood. 2 weeks later, I drove to my parents' for dinner. The house smelled like rosemary and old furniture. Jenna was already there, barefoot, cross-legged on the couch, scrolling. Her new boyfriend, Caleb, sat beside her, one of those effortlessly confident types who thinks good vibes only counts as a personality. "Isn't he handsome?" Mom whispered in the kitchen. "And he calls me ma'am. Such a gentleman." I looked at his half-finished beer on the counter. "Yeah, polite." At dinner, Jenna announced mid-mashed potatoes. "I quit my job today." "You what?" I asked. It was toxic. "I'm prioritizing my mental health." Dad nodded. "Proud of you for knowing your limits." I almost choked. The last time I took a day off, Mom said I was being dramatic. "I'm going to take a few months to figure things out," Jenna said, serene. "Caleb's being super supportive." Caleb raised his glass. "She's meant for big things. The universe has a plan." Mom glowed. "See, Claire? That's faith." I didn't say it out loud, but I thought. Faith doesn't pay rent. After dinner, Mom pulled me aside. "Sweetheart, you've always been so level-headed. You know how hard it is for Jenna right now." "Mom, she just quit on purpose. She needs to find her passion again." Caleb's helping her start something. Something creative. What kind of something? She smiled vaguely. A studio, maybe. Or a brand. You know how these things work. I don't. Because when I start something, I finish it. When I spend, I pay it off. When I plan, I follow through. He built behind my ribs. Mom, I already cover half the family's bills, I said evenly. The phone plan, the car insurance, even the vet. Oh, Claire, she said, waving a hand. Those are small things. Small things add up. Her smile stiffened. You've changed lately. No, I said quietly. I'm finally noticing. That night, in bed, I scrolled my debt note. The total had slipped into 5 figures, a whole vacation, a car down payment, a year of therapy. Instead, I was buying my family's comfort. And they spent it like it was endless. The next morning, Jenna called. Hey sis, she said, syrup sweet. So Caleb and I found this really cute place. Perfect for our new business idea. Business idea? I asked, still half asleep. It's a creative studio/content space. We just need a co-signer for the lease. The landlord's asking. My stomach sank. Jenna, no. She giggled like I was being silly. Come on. It's not like we're asking for money. It's just your name. That's exactly what you're asking for. My name is my credit, Jenna. Silence. Then a dramatic sigh. You don't believe in me. You never have. There it was. The guilt grenade. Jenna, I've believed in you more times than you've believed in yourself. Wow, she said cold. You sound just like Mom when she's disappointed in me. The line went dead. My heart pounded. It felt like a clock ticking down. That night, I told Mike everything, every number, every bill, every favor dressed up as love. He listened, then said, Claire, they're not asking for help. They're asking for control. It's not that simple. It is. You've been paying for permission to feel loved. I hated that it rang true. Days later, my phone rang again. Mom's voice was soft and urgent. Sweetheart, can you come by tomorrow? We want to talk. It's important. About what? You'll see. I knew that tone. It always came before a small ask. I almost said no. But the oldest lever, guilt, worked once more. As I hung up, my inbox pinged. Subject. Offer confirmation, Dublin. I hovered over, accept. For a second, I saw that life, a gray sky over a canal, my own apartment, my own bills, my own quiet. Then my phone buzzed again. Jenna. Can you come early tomorrow? Caleb wants to show you the studio plans. I didn't answer. I stared at 2 messages. One offering freedom, the other a new leash. That's when I realized something simple and scary. Every time I said yes to them, I said no to myself. Tomorrow I'd learn how far they push. Mom's kitchen is always spotless. That day it looked staged, too clean, too still, like everyone rehearsed before I arrived. Come in, sweetheart. Mom said sweetly, smoothing an apron she hadn't used. Jenna sat beside Caleb, beaming, a full mug of tea untouched. Dad sat at the head, arms crossed, jaw tight. It felt like an intervention. And I was the only one without a script. Mom slid a white binder toward me. Cheap label on the front. A tab read Jenna's Vision Studio. Inside, budget, marketing, investors, lease agreement. Your sister's been working really hard. Mom said in her brightest voice. She's ready to start her own business. A studio. A creative space. It'll be huge. Caleb nodded. We already found a downtown spot. We just need the bank to finalize the loan. I flipped the binder open. Pie charts, Pinterest-worthy decor, words like synergy, inspiration, and holistic community vibe. Then I saw the number, $150,000. Next to it, in neat blue ink, guarantor required for approval. My stomach dropped. You've got to be kidding. Dad leaned forward. It's not a big deal. They just need someone reliable on paper. That's exactly what a guarantor is, I said. If they default, I owe the whole thing. Mom smiled tightly. Oh, honey, don't be dramatic. It's just a signature. Caleb laughed. It's just a formality, Claire. We all know you're great with money. You've got your life together. Putting your name on it shows confidence. Confidence? I repeated. That's what we are calling it now? Jenna twirled her hair, eyes down. It's not that deep, Claire. It's exactly that deep, I said, closing the binder. $150,000 deep. Silence! Mom exhaled through her nose and tried her softest tone, the one she uses when guilt doesn't land right away. Sweetheart, you know we do it for you. I let out one small laugh. No, you wouldn't. Don't say that, she snapped. We've always supported you. In what way? I asked. Emotionally? Financially? If we're talking support, check my Venmo history. Dad's voice sharpened. Watch your tone, Claire. I'm calm, I said, and I'm saying no. Mom froze like she'd never heard those words from me. You can't mean that. I love you, I said evenly, but no, I won't co-sign. Jenna's eyes filled instantly. Wow, she whispered as if I'd slapped her. You really don't believe in me. Belief isn't a bank loan. You're so tight, she snapped. You hoard money like you're scared to live. Caleb smirked. Maybe that's why she's single half the year. Excuse me? My voice rose for the first time. He lifted his hands. Relax. It's a joke. Let's not fight. Mom rushed in. We're family. That's why I'm saying no, I said, pushing the binder back. Because we're family. If this fails, we don't just lose money. We lose each other. You make it sound like I'm some irresponsible kid, Jenna said. You quit your job last week and posted a TikTok about manifesting abundance, I said. You're cruel, she said through her teeth. I'm honest, I said quietly. That night, the guilt parade started. At 8:12 p.m., Mom called, voice thick with tears. How could you talk to your sister like that? She looks up to you. Mom, she's 30. She's sensitive. You have to understand her nature. Her nature? I said, to spend other people's money. Mom gasped like I'd cursed. I didn't raise you to be unkind. I didn't realize setting a boundary was unkind. Click. Then Aunt Rose left a long voicemail, all gentle pressure. Sweetheart, family is about giving and receiving. Maybe you can give a little more this season. God will bless you back tenfold. I deleted it halfway. By midnight, Jenna's Instagram story popped up. Sometimes the people closest to you are the ones who hold you back. #toxic family, #financial abuse, #cutting cords. There she was, teary-eyed, tragic, holding Daisy for extra sympathy. Comments poured in. You got this. So proud of you. I stared, hurt and numb. This wasn't about money anymore. It was about rewriting the story, and I was the villain. Mike called as I set my phone down. You okay? Define okay. You sound done. That's the thing, I whispered. I think I finally am. He was quiet, then steady. Then do something about it. Not for revenge. For peace. Next morning, a group text. Mom, family meeting tonight. Dad, we expect you here at 7. Jenna. Don't make this harder than it already is. Aunt Rose. Praying for harmony. I stared, then typed. Me. I won't be there. I didn't owe another explanation. My hands still shook when I hit send. Years of conditioning don't snap. They splinter. Minutes later, Mom called again. I didn't answer. 10 minutes after that, a text. If you won't support your sister, don't bother showing up for Thanksgiving. I read it twice and almost laughed. That was supposed to scare me. Instead, I felt relief. I went to the window, sun warming the floorboards. A delivery truck rolled by with my company's logo. Reliable, predictable, on time. It used to be me. Now I wanted to be reliable for myself. I opened my laptop. The Dublin offer was still there. I hovered over accept. The cursor blinked like a heartbeat. I heard Dad's old line, you're the glue of this family. Maybe it was time to stop being glue. Stop holding everyone together while they pulled me apart. I clicked accept. That night, missed calls stacked up. Dad, Mom, Jenna, Aunt Rose. I didn't answer. The only message I opened was from Mike. Proud of you for finally choosing yourself. For the first time in years, I slept without checking notifications. I didn't know it yet, but this was the calm before the storm. Because the next morning, Jenna would send the text that changed everything. It happened on a Wednesday at 8:12 a.m. I was brushing my teeth, hair tied up, half awake, when my phone buzzed on the sink. One glance, and I knew. Jenna. I'm quitting my job today. You'll support us while I figure things out. No question mark. No hedge. Like my paycheck had her name on it. I stared at the screen with toothpaste in my mouth, then typed calmly, Me? That's not on me. 4 words. A complete sentence. The end of a decade-long cycle. I rinsed, looked at myself in the mirror, tired eyes, steady hands. For once, I didn't shake. 10 minutes later, another buzz. Mom, banned from Thanksgiving until you sign your sister's $150,000 loan. I laughed out loud, real surprise, not bitterness. That was their punishment. Taking away an obligation I already dreaded? I left the phone on the counter, sat at my desk, opened my laptop, and scrolled to the bottom of the Dublin contract. I clicked confirm. Start date Monday. A soft chime. The smallest action felt huge. The next 30 minutes were chaos. Dad FaceTimed. Then again. Then again. When I finally answered, 3 faces crowded the screen: Mom, Dad, Jenna, talking over each other. Mom's voice was sharp. You will apologize to your sister and fix this. No, I said. Her mouth opened, but I kept calm. I'm not co-signing anything. I'm not paying your bills. I'm not funding her next phase. I'm done. Jenna's mascara had smudged into a full performance. You're so selfish. You're punishing me for being different. I'm not punishing you, I said. I'm setting a boundary. You've never believed in me, she shouted. I believed in you when I paid your college books, when I added you to my phone plan, when I covered your car insurance, when I paid your vet bills, when I loaned you money for your apartment deposit. Her lips shook. You're keeping score. Yes, I said evenly, because I'm the one paying the bill. Dad boomed. Watch your tone. I am, I said, and it's staying calm. I'm done being your guarantor, your salary, or your emergency fund. Mom's voice cracked. If you walk away now, you abandon this family. I'm leaving for work, I said. Not war. You think you're better than us, Jenna cried. I straightened and used my work voice. The one that gets things done. This isn't revenge, I said. It's closure. Silence. Then Dad's short, sharp laugh. The one meant to make people small. Closure from what? From doing your part? From being your plan, I said. From being the quiet solution. They all started again, blame, guilt, accusations turning to static. I didn't yell. I didn't explain. When they paused to breathe, I said the one thing I'd never said out loud. I regret not doing this sooner. Then I hung up. I set the phone down like a hot pan. My heart pounded. But I didn't cry. Outside, my neighbor watered his tomato plants. The world kept moving. I made coffee, sat, and opened a new spreadsheet, this time for my freedom. Title: Exit Plan. Each row was a rope to untie. Remove Mom and Jenna from phone plan. Unlink Jenna from car insurance. Cancel utilities at parents' house still in my name. Freeze credit line. Move savings to new bank. Cancel shared Netflix. Every click cut an invisible thread. By evening, my phone was a war zone, 43 missed calls, 142 messages. Aunt Rose. Sweetheart, talk to your mother. You'll regret this, Pride. Mom, we raised you better than this. Jenna, you've destroyed this family. Caleb. Bro, masculinity isn't about running away. I blocked him first. At 8:30 p.m., the group chat lit up again. Mom, family meeting 9 p.m. tonight. Me, I won't be there. Mom, you will. Me, no. Jenna, I hate you. Me, I love you. I just won't finance you. After that, gray bubbles. Mom sent paragraphs about sacrifice and shame. Dad texted, you'll regret this decision. Aunt Rose sent praying hands. I muted the thread, closed my laptop, and sat in the quiet. Silence is loud when you've lived in noise. At 10:17 p.m., a knock. I checked the peephole. Still in his work shirt, red-faced, jaw tight. I didn't open. Coward, he yelled through the door. Boundaries. I said calm. You think words protect you? He spat. No, I said. Choices do. A long pause. Heavy steps down the hall. I leaned against the door, shaking, not from fear, from adrenaline. The kind that comes when you finally defend your own ground. I texted Mike. Me. It's done. I'm leaving Monday. Mike. Are you okay? Me. For the first time? I think so. Mike. Proud of you. Book your flight. I'll meet you at the airport. The next morning, Mom sent a final offer. Sign the loan. Keep your number. Thanksgiving at Aunt Rose's. Final chance. I typed slowly. No. The only way to stop being the plan is to stop being the plan. She replied fast. We won't forget this. Me either. I put my phone down, packed a suitcase, and watched the first light hit the wall. No fireworks. No breakdown. Just steady clarity. Sunday came faster than I thought. Mike met me at the airport. His hug was warm and grounding. You did it, he said. Not yet. I said, but I'm getting there. As the plane took off, the city shrank below, shared bills, old fights, and guilt fading into the clouds. Somewhere between takeoff and landing, I realized peace doesn't make noise. It arrives quietly, like a sunrise you didn't think you'd see again. We landed in Dublin under a steel-colored sky. Cold, calm, wide, like it didn't care who I used to be. By the time I reached my company apartment, a thin mist was falling. The flat was small and spotless. White walls, a kettle on the stove, one plant by the window. For the first time in years, every bill, every lease, every key was mine alone. No shared accounts. No group chats. No calls that start with, "You're good with money, right?" Just quiet. I set down my suitcase and laughed softly. The strange kind of laugh that shows up after months of holding your breath. That first week, I relearned how to live. I walked the canals, bought fresh bread from the corner shop, cooked for one. The silence felt awkward at first, like I should be doing something else, solving someone's problem, paying someone's bill. On Wednesday, Mike came over after work with takeout and a bottle of wine. He looked around and smiled. You really did it. I think I had to, I said. You look lighter, he said. Tired, but lighter. We ate on the couch while the TV murmured. At some point I realized I hadn't checked my phone in hours. No alerts. No emergencies disguised as love. Just peace. By the end of the week, I opened the Old Notes app, the one with every family expense. The list looked like an archive of a past life. Each line was a memory. $216, family phone plan. $96, car insurance. $347, Daisy's vet bill. $1,200, apartment deposit. All of it tied to guilt sold as love. At the bottom I typed one final line. I will not co-sign chaos. Then I closed it for good. Thanksgiving came early that year, or that's what Mom called it in her texts. Mom, everyone's at Aunt Rose's. Your seat's still empty. Jenna. Daisy misses her auntie. Dad, it's not too late to fix things. I didn't reply. I roasted chicken and potatoes in my small kitchen. Mike came over, held up a slice of pizza like a toast. To family, he joked. To chosen family, I said. We laughed, not bitter, just honest. Later, the city glowed quietly outside my window. One new text from Jenna. Jenna, are you happy? I let my thumbs hover, then typed. Me, I hope you find what you're looking for. I just can't fund the search. She didn't answer. I didn't need her to. Days became weeks. The new job was hard, long hours, big projects, real responsibility, but it was mine. I liked walking into meetings where no one expected me to fix their lives, just to do my work. One Friday night, as I left the office, my manager handed me my first solo project report. Excellent work, Claire. Keep this up and we'll talk long-term contract. I nodded, smiled, and felt something uncurl, maybe pride. Not the hollow kind I chased by pleasing everyone. The quiet kind that doesn't need witnesses. Mom tried calling twice more. I let it ring. Then she left a voicemail I actually listened to. We're doing fine, sweetie. Jenna is working part-time now. Your father says, hi, just wanted to check you're safe. For once, it wasn't manipulative, just unsure. I didn't call back. But I smiled. It wasn't forgiveness. Not yet. But distance can heal what time alone can't. Sometimes I think about the version of me who panicked at every buzz, who mistook dependable for loved. That woman would have twisted herself into 1,000 shapes to stay approved. Now, when my phone vibrates, it's Mike sending a meme, a friend asking for brunch, or my landlord emailing a rent receipt with my name on it. No guilt. No hidden costs. No fine print. One Sunday, I sat by the window with coffee, watching rain ripple across the canal. I thought about that final night at home, Mom's last offer. The shouting, the door I didn't open when Dad showed up. I realized closure isn't a slammed door. It's the moment you stop holding it open. Mike came up behind me and rested a hand on my shoulder. You're quiet. Thinking about them, I said. About me, for once. He smiled. That's new. I laughed softly. It feels new. That evening, I wrote a note on the pad by the bed, a promise, not a plan. I won't call neglect help. I won't trade peace for access. I won't apologize for keeping what I earn. I won't be the plan. A love without paying for it. I folded it and slipped it into the drawer. For years, I thought I had to buy love by solving everyone's chaos. Peace, I've learned, doesn't need an audience. It needs space, the kind you make when you stop giving guilt the first seat at your table. Morning light came through the curtains. The kettle whistled. No chaos. No begging. No guilt texts. Just one mug of coffee and quiet that finally felt deserved. I thought about what Mom said the night she disowned me. You'll regret this. Maybe she was right. I do regret something. I regret not choosing myself sooner. As I got ready for work, I caught my reflection, same face that once flinched at every notification, now calm and steady. Survival looks simple once you stop apologizing for it. I used to confuse being needed with being loved. Now I know love doesn't keep score. It keeps you safe. And as I stepped into the brisk Dublin morning, I realized I wasn't running anymore. I was free.